So let's get into it. I'm going to stop touching my hair and we're going to start. Ben is on, and we are going to talk today about changing our mind to change our health, our body, our energy level, and our life. Okay? If you see the people that they change the way they look or they lose a lot of weight and then they gain it all back, that's because they never changed their mind. Okay? If you've ever achieved something and then gone back to the original state of your body or your health or your finances, that's because you never got to the root of the problem, which is your mind. So let me get Ben in here. Sorry about that, Ben. All right. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys didn't catch last week, I was on Ben's channel. We had a great discussion. I highly recommend you go over there and check that out. That was really awesome. We had some great questions and we got through a lot of stuff. One of the questions was about EFT. And it had me thinking about how much our mind affects our health and our body. So I wanted to bring Ben back on here because it is so crucial that you start seeing yourself in a different way and start thinking differently if you want to have a different body, a different life, a different experience here on Earth. So before we start, Ben, can you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, why you got into what you're doing now and what you love to do and what's your passion?
Sure. So I'll try to be quick with it. So I work with people with autoimmune disease to help them reverse it. I practice in Phoenix, Arizona, and about 11 years ago, I came down with a undiagnosed chronic disease. At the time, doctors couldn't diagnose it, couldn't treat it, couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I had chronic fatigue, chronic muscle pain, terrible digestive issues, eczema all over my hands, brain fog, and was just really messed up. And I would go to the doctor and they'd be like, oh, we don't know what's wrong with you, or we did your blood work and everything looks normal, or go see this guy, go see that guy. And so basically after getting the shuffle, getting the runaround, I started looking into health of my own. Back then, I wasn't a doctor, I was just some guy working in a cubicle. And so after trying many things, stumbled across a fruit-based diet, and within 4 weeks of implementing it pretty seriously, I was like 80% symptom free. I felt better than I had in my entire life. And health just became my hobby after that. Like my whole mindset, my mentality about how health works completely shifted. And I eventually realized that that's what I wanted to do for a living. And so here I am now helping all the people that, just like me, couldn't be helped by the system. And I think just in this time, the system's only gotten worse and more people are jumping ship. So here we are serving those people in the life rafts.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that is what our purpose here on Earth is to overcome our obstacles and then help other people overcome them as well, right? So that's what you're doing, and we really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for being here. And I want to get into it right away about the mind-body connection, okay? I know that you teach EFT, and we're going to talk about that for a little bit. If you guys have never heard of EFT, it's Emotional Freedom Technique. Ben, do you want to just give them a little bit of information about it, what it's done for you, and how it could possibly help them in their life?
So Emotional Freedom Technique is based on something called acupressure, which works with the meridian points along the body. And what it mainly does is it gets the nervous system out of that fight, flight, freeze, panic mode and into the rest, digest, relax, and heal mode. Let me ask you this, Jeanette. Have you ever been like having a panic attack, or you're really nervous or anxious or freaking out, and someone says to you, hey, just relax?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it work?
No.
No.
Not at all. It made me more stressed.
Yes. So EFT is a way to shortcut that with the nervous system and actually tell the nervous system to relax and actually get it to do so. Because if you just tell someone, hey, chill out, relax, everything's fine, they're still like, whoa.
That's not a tool. That doesn't, that never helps. It never helps.
And people have good intentions, but this is, it's funny because we were talking about, how you have to change your mind to change your body. This is a way to use your body to change your mind.
Oh, yes.
To use your body to override this mind that's just going a million miles an hour, and getting it to calm down and getting it out of that freak out state.
Yeah, I mean, if you change the way you move your body, you'll change the way you think. And doing these tapping, activating these pressure points is a really powerful tool to help change the mind that helps change the body. It's like a beautiful cycle. It's a symbiotic relationship we have with our body. We have to understand that it's very connected. So what exactly do you do? What is EFT?
So it's tapping on different points on the hands and the face and the head mostly, and then talking through the emotions that you're experiencing to get the amygdala, the hindbrain, the lizard brain to calm down. So, um, so there are a series of points that you're just basically tapping on. And while you're doing that, you're talking through whatever kind of thing you're freaking out about and just vocalizing it out loud. Because a lot of times when we're going through a really stressful time, we're not talking about it. We're seeking some sort of escape, right? Whether that's junk food or television or surfing the phone or like drugs or cigarettes or alcohol or whatever it is. We're searching for some way to avoid the emotion rather than to confront it. And so this tapping allows us to confront the emotion in a way that it doesn't feel like you're confronting an angry tiger, that it's actually manageable.
Wow, yeah. So you can just tap on these points. Do you have to say a certain thing, or do you want to say positive things to yourself? Do you want to talk about what's wrong? Do you want to talk about the negative?
Sure. So talk about, because this is a raw food show, right? And we're talking about eating better to improve our health. One thing that I find that people deal with the most is cravings, right? They're like trying to do a fruit-based diet, but then, they want tacos or they want pizza or whatever, right? And it's like really overpowering feeling where they can't even I don't know if you've had cravings like that. I assume people watching have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me, but I do remember that well. And so let's say like, hey, so here's an example, right? And I'm just going to tap through the points as I do it. So like, even though I'm feeling this craving for pizza, even though I really, really want pizza and I want a pepperoni pizza or I want whatever kind of pizza it is, like Little Caesar, even though I just want that pizza and I know it's going to be bad for me and I know I'm going to feel horrible afterwards, even though all that stuff's going on, I really want it. I'm really craving it. And even though I'm really craving it, I still accept myself. Even though I'm feeling this, I still love myself. That can be really hard to say, right? That can be really hard for people to say, but you vocalize it out loud and you make peace with the emotions by like sharing, hey, I'm freaking out. I want pizza. And I feel a bunch of guilt and shame about that. I know I'm going to feel guilt and shame after I eat it. But even though all that's going on, that's one of the things you end with. Like, I love myself. I accept myself, however you want to phrase it. I completely love and accept myself. And that's what you're tapping through. And so this can sometimes, like, I've literally had times when I was freaking out about something, and within 10 seconds of, like, I just get this, and all of a sudden my body's like, ooh, chilled out, went from like a 10 to a 2. Sometimes it takes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, several cycles through. I don't really know why it works really well sometimes and takes longer other times. I don't know.
Yeah, I personally have experienced the power of EFT. I didn't really believe in it. I wasn't really into this. I believe in science and I believe in what I know, and what I can see. And then the EFT, I was like, this is too simple. And then I started doing it a few years ago because of a fear of bugs. I had a really big fear of roaches, right? And it was so overwhelming that like I couldn't sleep and I was just always afraid to like see one, and it literally helped me so much. I can't even tell you. Fear of anything, fear of heights, fear of, anxiety, fear of flying. There's so many things that have been cured, and it really helps with changing your health because it helps you to, first of all, get out of that fight or flight and make these decisions that you want to make. Because I think every single person watching this wants to be healthy, wants to feel good, wants to have the body of their dreams, right? Wants to live the life of their dreams. Nobody wants to be, overweight, depressed, low energy, not making the money they should be making, all this stuff, right? So I think that we're making choices without really thinking about it because we feel like we're out of control. And EFT has helped me personally, and maybe it's helped you as well, feel more in control of my decisions, my emotions, and my life. So, when did you learn EFT?
I think it first came on my radar. Ugh, I don't know, maybe like 2013.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was 2012, 2013 was a pretty rough time for me. I was going through a lot of things in my personal life, and I got really into a lot of these mind body things just because I was like dealing with so much stuff that it was overwhelming. And
Mm.
didn't want to, resort to using substances or doing some other like destructive kind of thing. And I was open minded to it because if this was me like 15 years ago, I would have been like raw foods, meditation, tapping. That's all like just hippie BS, right?
Yeah.
But and then I had my mind open by doing raw foods because it was kind of my last option. So then I was sort of open to trying things. I was like, let's give it a go. And there's not going to be like I'm going to be tapping on my face. It's not like it's going to give me cancer if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and it's free too. Like maybe at the beginning you might need somebody to help you, do it or guide you through it. But after that, you can use this tool for the rest of your life. And it's something that is free to do. You can do it anytime. And I know a lot of people that like actors do it to like help with stage fright or on auditions. It's so good for your body. It lowers cortisol, right? What else does it do physically in the body?
It shuts off the amygdala, which is like the hindbrain, which is like the most primitive part of the brain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big one. That's the one that will overtake you and run your decisions when you're in this fight or flight mode. So yeah, it does a lot physiologically. I'm not even, I can't even name everything off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's a lot of science behind this, and there's been a lot of studies on EFT. So in addition to, and by the way, do you like teach EFT or are you a practitioner?
I'm not a practitioner. I do health coaching with people for autoimmune disease, and the craving thing comes up, and it's just one tool that I found that I was constantly giving to people. And I was just doing it yesterday with somebody.
Wow.
So I don't I'm pretty agnostic. Like I just do what works, right? So I don't like consider myself a practitioner. But it's like if like taking pills worked or seeing a shrink worked, like, people would just do that. I would just do that. We wouldn't need to be here talking about these other things because those things don't work, right?
Yeah.
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 So one of many tools that I use as far as mind body techniques. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So if anybody has any more, questions on EFT, definitely contact Ben. He can help you with that, and he also uses it in his coaching and when he's guiding people to change their life. I also recommend it. I don't do it with people, but I recommend I send videos to them because I found it to be very, very helpful. In addition to EFT, what would you say are some other ways that we can start to change our body in relation to our mind? What are some other ways that we can start to change the way that we do things, the way we eat and the way we move and the way we live?
Yeah, great question. And I assume you mean like how can we leverage our mind to
Yes.
our body, right? Because
Yeah.
ultimately, people watching this, like, it's pretty simple, right? It's like eat fruits and vegetables. It's not that complicated, right?
Yeah.
But as the Indigo Girls said, the hardest to learn was the least complicated. So one thing that some other tools I like are writing down goals every morning when you wake up. So whether that's reversing a disease. I'm not a big fan of like numbers and weight loss. I feel like that really gets people derailed. But maybe it's like, you want to be able to run a certain number of miles, or you want to be able to lift a certain amount of weight or do a certain number of pull-ups. Like a fitness goal in that framework, I think is really good. Like for me right now, I'm working on this move called a muscle up, which is kind of super
Oh,
pull-up.
yeah.
So that's like one of the goals I write down every morning. So writing down goals is big. I think meditation and visualization. Like if you have meditate listening to an audio that's talking about the goals that you want, whether it's your fitness, whether it's your health, whether it's your finances, whether it's your relationships, and like programming yourself with that good stuff every morning is a good way to prime the brain for success, because the mind wants to, constantly say, you're unhealthy, you're overweight, you're not fit, you're never going to succeed, you suck at this, you're going to fail again, you always fail. So you have to get in there and like beat that mind with a stick. Okay? And some of the ways you do that are writing down your goals, meditating, listening to audios that are going to talk about what you want while you're meditating, or have you visualize it. So those are three really good ones. I'm sure we could talk about a bunch more, but those are three that I really like, that I do every day.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is to put good things in your mind, because as you know, the mind is going to do whatever you tell it to do. So if you are telling it, I cannot give up sugar, I cannot work out, I hate sweating, I cannot be disciplined, the mind is like your slave. It's a powerful tool that you can use, and it's going to confirm what you're saying. You love to be right. Okay, so all humans love to be right. So if you say you can't do something, your mind is going to make it so you cannot do it. You cannot fight those cravings. You cannot go a day without soda or chocolate or whatever it is, right? So you're going to have to, and it's very hard to change. Okay, you need to know this. It's very hard to change, but you can do it. Okay, you can do it. And the best things in life are hard, and you reap the rewards from that hard work. So what I would recommend is the same thing that you just said. Put in positive audio. One of my favorite things to do is I listen to Tony Robbins a lot. I love him. I think he's like the ultimate, he was the best at what he does. He is the best at what he does. And I love his positive audio. I also do highly recommend you listen to your goals too. I actually do that for my clients. I have, whenever I have a client that I'm coaching, I make them an audio of their affirmations, and I make them listen to it every single morning and every night. Okay, so every single morning they have to start with the goals that they have, reminding themselves of what they really want, because we can really get caught up in just the daily tasks that we need to do, and not focusing on what we really want out of life, what we want to heal, what we want to work on, how we want to feel. We can just, go through life mindlessly, and that is not going to lead to a good future. Okay, so yeah, that is a great tip. That's probably the number one thing I would say, is you got to put in better things. Okay, because whatever you put in, you're going to get out. So you got to put in more positive audio books or YouTube videos, or I do guided visualizations for people with their affirmations and goals. Another thing that I would recommend, so you said you write down your goals every morning. That's amazing, because it helps you remember what the hell you want to do, right? Like it's just such a simple thing. You're just writing down. Do you write it in the present, like you already have it, or do you write down I want to, or I'm in the process of?
I write it down in the present, as if they already exist.
Yes. Yeah, because then it's like time just has to catch up. Yeah, I really love that. Like, so you write down, I can do 10 muscle ups. Easy, no problem.
Yeah, I wrote 3, but yeah, 10 would be.
Yeah.
I literally wrote, I can do 3 strict muscle ups. That's what that's my fitness goal.
And what he's doing, guys, it's such a simple thing, right? It's not easy, but it's simple. What's easy to do is also easy not to do, right? It's easy for him to also just like be like, oh, I don't have time to write that down today, right? But it's so simple to just write it down. And then what's happening is he's reprogramming his subconscious to be a person who can easily do 3 muscle ups. It's just such an amazing thing that we have. This brain, this tool that we have, we've got to start using it to our advantage. Okay, you are in control of your mind. The other thing that I was going to say is, every day that I wake up, I immediately write a gratitude list. Okay, so I immediately write 10 things that I'm grateful for. And I got this because I read in a book once that the quality of your life is determined by how much time you spend in gratitude. And when you're grateful for things, it doesn't matter what it is, right? It doesn't matter. It could be very small or really big. the universe and you will find ways to have more things to be grateful for. It's an incredible thing that I highly recommend. You know, if you write down the things you're grateful for, you know, I recommend 10, but if you can only think of 5, that's fine, right? But you can think of 10. And if you can't think of anything, just listen. You're watching this on a phone, you have an amazing life, right? You have a beautiful, amazing phone. You have, you know, 2 arms, 2 legs, you have 2 eyes probably, right? You have so many things, big things and small things to be grateful for. And it's just the compound effect of being grateful really works. So I highly recommend that. What else would you say is great for, oh, let's talk about vitamin D. Vitamin D, getting vitamin D from the sun is so important to our mind and our health. I don't know how much you've researched vitamin D. I'm sure you know a lot more than me, but I know that 80% of cancer patients are vitamin D deficient, at least 80%. What would you say to people as far as like trying to get them outside, especially because now the sun is out? How important is that?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you guys who don't know, vitamin D is actually more of a hormone than a vitamin because your body produces it when it's exposed to sunlight. And so it's super important to get your skin exposed to sunlight. And, you know, paradoxically, I live in Arizona where the vitamin D deficiency is actually pretty common because it's so hot for about 3-4 months out of the year that people just don't go outside much during. So yes, vitamin D, you know, it's taught in like most, you know, biology classes and physiology and medical school that vitamin D only does one thing. It helps with bone health, right? That like, don't let it go below 20 or you'll get osteoporosis. But the fact is that like most hormones in the body, it does a lot of different things. And if you only look at bone health, well, you're missing out on all these other benefits. And if you think 20 is the lower limit, you're missing out, right? Like really should be, their range should be 50 to 80. And I think it's like nanograms per deciliter or something like that.
How much time is that approximately outside, like direct sunlight?
That I don't know.
It depends. Yeah, it depends where you live.
Yeah, it depends where you live. And it depends on a bunch of factors. I still supplement vitamin D. Not to get too conspiracy, but there is an excipient in many of the childhood vaccines called Nagalese, which actually interferes with the body's endogenous ability to produce vitamin D when exposed to sun. And so some people, despite getting a bunch of sun exposure, still have low levels. So I really recommend supplementing for everybody. I know that's not what the raw vegans want to hear, but this is just what I've stumbled across. But
okay,
yes.
Well, for the raw vegans, I would like to speak up for them. I will be the raw vegan voice. So basically, I would personally say get a blood test. I would highly recommend getting a blood test. And I would recommend, if you're deficient, then to supplement. I don't know. Do you recommend people supplement even if they're not deficient?
I would recommend if you're, so there's like a clinical deficiency, which you're below 20, like you got to supplement hard, like probably 10,000 IUs a day for a while. For like a subclinical deficiency where you're below 50, I would still recommend supplementing just to get the number up. Once you're in the 50 to 80 range, if you can maintain it just naturally with doing sunlight, awesome.
Wow. That is really wild what you said about in the jab thing. Like that makes so much sense because we need vitamin D to be healthy. So to have an inhibitor in there, that's interesting. That's very scary.
Yeah, but definitely people should be getting their levels checked. Someone asked multivitamin or just vitamin D. Let's be clear on this. Don't recommend taking a multivitamin. I do recommend taking vitamin D3, not D2. And if you're an ethical vegan, you want to get a vegan D3, which is a little bit hard to find, but they make it from lichen, and you can find it at most health food stores. But if it doesn't say vegan on it, it's probably made from sheep.
Lanolin, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody asked before how best can I detox after surgery? I mean, with the medical drugs, etc. So from like anesthesia and all these things, what would you recommend as the best way to detox?
I would recommend just, fruit-based diet. Like, limit the amount of toxins that your body's exposed to and let it expunge the backlog of stuff that it got, drugged up with.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would recommend a lot of green juice, green smoothies, and dark green leafy vegetables. That, I believe, is the most detoxifying thing we can consume. Sweating, being in an infrared sauna is great for detoxing. And just take care of yourself because your body wants to get rid of that stuff. This is why it's so important to be healthy now and take care of yourself now, because when you're going to have surgery, okay, and we can't control sometimes what happens, right? Sometimes we have to have surgery and we have to get these really unhealthy things put in our body, these drugs, right? You want to have your body really strong and working properly. So that's why, and it doesn't happen overnight, like these detoxes, it doesn't really work. You have the compound effect of eating healthy over years and years and years has to be taking place for your body to work properly. So start today, okay, and just do the best you can today, and it's going to pay off in the future. You're making an investment for your future by eating healthy today. Okay, so every single thing you eat matters because that is what is going to determine your health in the future. And if your body is going to be able to detox these drugs quickly or, take a lot of time and cause problems. Somebody said celery juice. Yeah, I would recommend any green leafy vegetable. That's really great. Infrared sauna. Yeah, I would recommend, any type of sweating. I know infrared sauna is probably like the best sauna, but exercise is really good. Moving your lymphatic system to detox is really important. So not just sitting in the sauna, but actually moving is really, really important after, once you can, after you have surgery to get the stuff out, get the toxins out of your body. EFT, importance of mind connection. If you're asking about that, we actually talked about the importance of the mind-body connection and EFT earlier. So check out the earlier chat. But yeah, really, really important to get your mind under your control if you want to change your body and your health. And drinking a lot of water, yeah, that's a great idea because you're moving. I don't believe water is hydrating. And let me know your thoughts on this, Ben. I drink water to move the toxins out of my body. I don't truly believe that water is hydrating. I think it's yeah, I drink it too. But I don't believe that there's any hydration in water. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there is, but I think that it's not the full picture. Like, you can't just eat a bunch of crap and dehydrate yourself and then expect that, like, you just drink some water and you're gonna, like, be good to go. And can I comment on the whole detox thing? Because I feel like that's a hot subject. I'd always been in the raw food world, but I think one of the main things where people miss the boat is they think that some outside substance is going to detoxify their body. Like, if I just drink celery juice, or I just take these like chelation pills, or I just take these herbs, or I just do like TRS or whatever, like these formulas, right? That it's gonna like suck the toxins out of my body and it's gonna come out through my poop or whatever. I come from a natural hygiene standpoint where the body detoxifies the body. And it does so to the degree that you don't toxify it. So when you're saying like, hey, it's just important to always be eating healthy, like, yeah. So your detoxification channels are open and you can constantly handle this stuff because the way you detoxify, your body's always doing it. But most people are so overloaded with toxins, they're developing a backlog and they're storing it in their skin and their liver and their wherever, their gallbladder. And so they're building up a backlog. So if you want to detoxify, get rid of that backlog, well, you got to stop putting new stuff in. And you got to eat as clean as you can all the time, not just when you feel like, oh, I need to detox. All that, meth and Miller Lite I did, time to get it out of the system. That's not really a sustainable solution.
Yeah, great point. Think of your body like a friend. If you always treat that friend shitty, you ignore them, you cancel plans, you treat them like shit, basically, they're not going to be there for you when you need them, right? They're going to be like, screw you, you're a shitty friend. So you need to understand that your body is not going to be there for you when you need it if you treat it like shit. You're going to have to do it before you need to. I mean, you listen, if you want to wait until it's too late or until it's an emergency, you can do that. But our life purpose is to help you not, because sometimes it will be too late, right? Or you will have to pay for very expensive surgeries, or you will have to be in severe, uncomfortable pain. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anyone, being, in the hospital, having a liver transplant, or just having to deal with all these preventable diseases, these diseases that, cancer and strokes and heart disease. Okay, heart disease is caused by what we're eating, and the only diet that cures it is a plant-based diet. That has been proven, the only diet that reverses it. So instead of going through all of the horrible pain of having a disease and the doctor appointments and the chemo and the drugs and then dealing with all that and having to, wanting to detox it in the future, guys, we're still able to take control of our life now. We've got to take advantage. Okay, we've got to take advantage today. What can you do today to help your future? And that is, like Ben said, eliminate the food that you know is not contributing to your health, is taking away from your health. Okay. So somebody wrote, I hear TRS is good at taking away morgellons and fungus in the body. Do you want to comment on that? Do you know anything about that, Ben?
Morgellons disease, which is a whole rabbit hole. But it's a chemical detoxification thing, and it's sold by people who eat unhealthy and are just trying to make a buck, right? Yeah. And so, you're going to trust, some guys out there that are selling some, chemical chelation system, or are you going to trust the 3.5 billion years of evolution that brought you to where you are, that your very impressive, very powerful body can detoxify itself given the proper conditions to do so?
Yeah, great point. Always look at the source of who's saying the information. Okay, honestly, I didn't want to start a fruit company because I didn't want people to think that I'm just trying to sell fruit. But I started a fruit company here in Florida because of the fact that I love fruit. This is my biggest passion, talking to people about it. It healed my life. It healed my skin. It healed so much in my life. So that's why I was like, I'm going to do what I love. But I honestly didn't want to do it. It took me a very long time because I didn't want people to think that I was just trying to sell them fruit, because I was going to make money on it. And that is absolutely not the truth. I started a fruit company because I know the truth. And this is our species-specific diet. And this is the food that is going to help our bodies heal the best. Fruit and vegetables and herbs, these things do not heal the body. They simply let the body heal itself. Everything else gets in the way of the healing, and we have to spend so much energy and time on digesting the other crap, the processed food, the meats, the dairy, that we don't have the time or energy, our body doesn't have the time or energy to heal itself. So this is why fruit and vegetables, plant-based things are so good. And I'm talking about the non-processed things, okay? The processed vegan food is going to lead you down a path that you do not want to be in, okay? That is processed food. And we know that whether it's vegan or not, processed food leads to health problems in the future. Did you want to say something, Ben? I felt like...
Yeah, I guess I was just going to say, I think the most important, thing that people have to grasp is that, the body heals the body.
Yes.
And a lot of people come to...
When it's healthy. When it is healthy. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people come to alternative health because they've been disillusioned with the mainstream system, but then they still apply a pharmacological medical paradigm to what they're doing, right? They're like, okay, well, I don't want to take, statin drugs, but I'll just take detox, herbs, or my naturopath gave me these supplements, and so instead of taking pharmaceutical pills, they're taking alternative supplement pills, but they're still in this method of there has to be some outside substance or force or influence that heals me. And in the actuality, what we're trying to explain to you guys is that that like that's not what happens, and the fruits and vegetables don't even heal you. The body heals itself in
Correct.
the proper conditions. You and I both experienced that firsthand.
Yeah.
I believed in the medical model for like 28, 29 years until I went through that, 4-week experience I told you about where all my symptoms radically just vanished. And I went, wow, this body, and like I have abs now, and like what happened? Like like my body was trying to do this the whole time. I was just giving it the wrong stuff. So you got to get out of this mindset that there's some like magic genie pill or detox herb or TRS or whatever supplement, or if I just do celery juice, I can just keep eating McDonald's and like I'll detox. It's madness, and you're really just applying like a pharmaceutical model to the alternative health. It's like if I were to ask you like, hey, Jeanette, someone has heart disease. We talked about it's reversed with a plant-based diet. What plants should they eat? Should it be blueberries or pineapple? Like what's best for heart disease?
Yeah, or the protein thing. Or people go vegan and they want to know what plants, what things have the most protein. Okay? And it's you have the same thinking that the mainstream has. And if the mainstream is doing it, you want to go the other way, guys. We know this already. You don't want to follow. So I'm glad you brought this up, because so many people every single day message me and ask me, what do I do for protein? And it's just like, if you're vegan or you're trying to be a healthy vegan or raw vegan, you've got to stop thinking like the mainstream, like a meat eater. Okay, that's the way meat eaters think, because they've been duped into thinking that we need protein. That's the only reason that anybody would eat a dead animal's body part. Nobody would eat this. This is disgusting. But they've brainwashed us. And I understand that if this is the first time you're hearing this, it's like, what? That doesn't even make sense. I went to medical school. I went to nutrition school. That they taught me. Yeah, they don't know. They don't even know. Okay? Like, honestly, there's so many truths that are not on the news and not in schools and not taught. And one of them is that we don't need protein. We are protein. We need minerals, nutrients, and calories. We need, things to help us have energy, right? But we don't need anything. Our body is so capable of performing once we get out of its way. It's like putting sand in a Ferrari, okay? That's what protein is. You're living and surviving despite the sand, the horrible fuel that you're putting in. That's how powerful our bodies are. Think about it, Ben, right? Like we can even, like these athletes and the people that succeed physically, and they're doing stuff despite having the wrong fuel. That's how powerful. Imagine if you have the right fuel. You could do a muscle up one day.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, people are applying like standard American diet, medical principles to something that like it's totally not that. And that people are so paranoid they're not going to get enough protein, and it's like they can't even name the disease that happens when you don't get it. But it's like every single major chronic disease that we're is in excess of protein. Like heart disease, too much animal protein. Diabetes, too much animal protein. Cancer, too much animal protein.
Yeah.
Also, too much animal protein. And it's like people think that like, I might not get enough. I don't know what'll happen, but they say there's something bad, And it's like,
I swear we're living in Alice in Wonderland. Everything's just backwards. I swear everything is just completely backwards. Somebody had a great question. Hold on, let me find it. Well, someone asked about adding minerals on a plant-based diet. What do you feel about that? Thoughts on adding minerals such as like mushrooms and stuff like that to water?
Eat vegetables.
Yeah.
Minerals grow around them from the earth. That's why they're called minerals. They're in the soil.
Here was the question. Yeah, good point. How to remove fungus from the body without TRS. And okay, again, the body does not want fungus in it. The body knows what to do. This is like the most advanced technology on earth, the human body. We are so advanced. First of all, we're not even tapping into what we used to be able to do, right? Because we've been eating the wrong thing for so long that we've cut off our power. but we are so advanced that we can eat things like processed food, poison, animal body parts, and we can still survive. Okay, so that is incredible, right? We can eat all these things that no human should be eating. So now, how to remove fungus from the human body? I would personally say definitely start to remove the things that may have caused the fungus and that that you should not be eating. We know, okay, if you've been following me or Ben, you know that you've got to put in fresh, ripe fruit and vegetables, okay, mostly fruit, to have a properly running machine, okay? Our body needs to run properly, and it wants to get rid of the fungus. Now, I would recommend a lot of greens, okay? I don't have too much information or experience with removing fungus. I know some people in here do, like Chris is in here from the Raw Advantage. He's awesome. Maybe he can chime in. Or Ben, maybe let me know if you have any experience helping people remove fungus. But I know that your body wants to get rid of it. So I would recommend eliminating the processed food, the junk food, and going on a primarily raw vegan diet, and it will heal itself. What would you say?
So I'd say, like, look, fungus occurs naturally in the body. We're 3.5 billion years of evolution. Viruses occur naturally in the body. Bacteria occur naturally in the body. We're symbiotic with all of that. And there's a balance to it. There's a delicate balance that happens. And so when there's too much fungus, most of the time, it's because we killed off the bacteria that usually keep the fungus at bay. One of the biggest reasons people get fungal infections is because they do a course of antibiotics. It kills off a bunch of their good bacteria, and then the fungus overgrows. So that begs the question, how do you grow back your good bacteria? Well, there's a lot of people that want to sell you bacteria in a pill form. It's called probiotics. Not really a fan. What you want to do is you want to feed those good bacteria the food that they eat, which happens to be the fiber in fruits and vegetables.
The fiber.
Yes.
Yeah, fiber.
Yes. So fiber is an interesting, we go on a tangent on that, but like humans don't actually like break down the fiber. The bacteria do, and it's food for the bacteria. And those bacteria are symbiotic with us. They help us live. They fight off infection. They fight off, bad viruses, bad fungi, bad bacteria. And so we need them working, and we need to feed them the good stuff, which is fruits and vegetables. And so we feed them the right stuff. They grow back. They kill off the bad guys, and we're back into symbiosis. So, it's like we're looking at these imbalances in the system. It's like if we just give the body what it needs, it can take care of it. This idea that we have interventions and intervene and think that the body's stupid after 3.5 billion years of evolution, you think we're actually smarter than that? Like, you're kidding yourself.
So what about people that go on a juice cleanse to get rid of fungus or candida or after surgery? What do you think they're doing? Are they making things better or worse?
For fungus, I wouldn't do a juice cleanse. Yeah, you really need fiber.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Again, we have to remember that juice is also a processed food, okay? You're not going to go into nature and find a juicer, and we're trying to live the most natural life we can. And our bodies, they're so, yeah, like he said, we've been here for a long time. We haven't had all this technology this whole time, but we have had the fruit and vegetables, right? That has been growing for us to eat. Okay, so we have to just try to get back to the most natural way possible, okay, without processing so much stuff. I think green juice is great. I drink green juice all the time, but I would never do a juice cleanse to heal myself. I'll never do a juice cleanse again, honestly. I did one. I don't know if you've had experience doing one. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I did one. It was short. It was like 3.5 days.
Okay.
I really had no expectations. My guitar skills improved dramatically. That was fun, but I've never done like anything longer than that.
Yeah, so I did a 35-day juice cleanse, and I have friends that have done 90-day juice cleanse. I've had friends that have done more than 90 days, and I've got to tell you, every single one of those friends and me did not benefit long term. In fact, things got worse, okay? Because after that, like you said before, we do need the bacteria. Our bacteria needs the fiber, okay? So we need that fiber, and without it, it's just our body doesn't know what to do. It's going into like a mode of like, what is going on here? This is not natural, just drinking juice. And especially like if you're drinking lots of fruit juice, sweet juice, right? It's not natural. You need the fiber with the sugar, with all the vitamins and the minerals, whole foods, right? A juice is not a whole food. I would even say smoothies are much better because at least it's a whole food blended down. But I personally did a juice cleanse, and as soon as I was done, I gained so much weight. I gained all my weight back. I didn't do it to lose weight, but I did it for health, to detox, whatever, right? And I gained so much weight back, and then my metabolism was really messed up, and I was so much hungrier than I've ever been, and it just, nothing good came out of it. And all the friends that I have that have done long-term juice cleanses, they've fallen off. They've gone back to cooked food. Some have gone back to animal products, right? I mean, like really bad things. Some have gone back to processed food, fast food, because we need food. We're humans. We need calories. We need to eat. And when we don't, we suffer long term. Okay, we've got to find something that we can consistently do. A juice cleanse you cannot stay on. It's not sustainable. I would not recommend doing it. I never recommend anybody doing that. What would you recommend for prostate health? My dad has issues. What would you say for that?
I would say, first off, prostate cancer takes so long to kill you. Most people die of heart disease or something else before.
Wow.
I would do, like surgical interventions and things like that, like last resort, honestly, like exhaust other measures. But plant-based diet has been shown to reverse it. And you don't even need to do like an all raw fruit-based one. Just the whole food plant-based cooked diet can reverse it. There are, like obviously surgery and chemo or radiation are tough on the body. And most of them, like you can lose the ability to, do certain things with your genitals that maybe you want to. So you want to avoid those like only as last resort. There's also a new therapy where they just like ultrasound on the prostate that seems to break it up, but plant-based diet, like get that down, and then you shouldn't have to worry about like, what drugs or surgeries or interventions you're going to do.
Yeah. And last question that we're going to take. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate everyone. How to restore healthy gut bacteria, juice cleanse, and high fiber vegetables. Okay. Again, me personally, if you're asking me for my advice on, I've been eating raw vegan for 10 years now. I have done a lot of juice cleanses. I've done mono meal cleanses where you just eat one fruit for a long time. I've done a lot of stuff that I would never do again. Now that I know better, I wouldn't do a juice cleanse to restore your gut bacteria. What I would do is I would maintain a healthy, raw vegan diet, okay, high with fresh, ripe, juicy, organic fruit and vegetables, okay? I would personally eat a lot of greens, and I would make green juice, but I would not go on a juice cleanse, but I would have juice with my other food or, during the day. And I would stay away from the food that caused you to have issues in the first place. Okay. So that's the most important thing. Replace the bad food with good food. Okay. Preferably organic fruit, preferably seasonal, preferably local, right? Do the best you can. We're not all living in the tropics or an ideal place, but summer's coming. The weather's warm. We can all get fruit right now, right? So there are no excuses right now. And I would just also highly recommend that you look at your mindset, which is going to lead us back to what we were originally talking about. You've got to change the way that you see food and health. Food is not healing you. Food is just something you can eat that's either going to help or get in the way. Okay? So we have to change that. What would you say to that question, Ben?
Sure. So first off, I agree with you that like this concept of food is medicine. It's like, no, that's not really how it works. Like if you're just eating your species specific diet and eating what you're supposed to be eating, health will just be a natural consequence. You won't ever need any medicine. Or, except in like emergency situations. But yeah, as far as the like restoring good gut bacteria, like just to reiterate, like The good bacteria eat the fiber in fruits and vegetables. They gotta have the fiber. That's their sustenance. So if you're juice cleansing, you're not giving them what they need. And the bad bacteria are gonna eat the bad food. Okay, so if you feed it In-N-Out burger, the bad bacteria are gonna overgrow on the good bacteria. And what happens is the bad bacteria are very sneaky. They've evolved. They know, they do some dirty tricks to you. Hijack what's called your vagus nerve, which is one of the major nerves that goes from the brain through many of the organs. And they can send a signal back up that nerve to the brain to get to crave the stuff that they want to eat. So
because they need to survive, right? Because that's the food that they are surviving on, right?
So, like, you know, getting off the bad food is tough because, you know, this stuff, you know, like the bacteria will actually literally hijack your physiology. So, you gotta feed them fiber. You gotta feed them fiber from fruits and vegetables. And that doesn't mean, now here's where people can trip up because they'll apply the medical model and they'll go, oh, the good bacteria eat fiber. I'm gonna take fiber pills. Or I'm going to take psyllium husk powder because there's fiber in it. And it's like, you've missed the boat. Eat fruits and vegetables. Eat the things in their natural state. Like, there should be never a need to add extra fiber to your diet. All the food that you eat should have fiber in it occurring naturally. If it doesn't, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, it's a lot more simpler than you think. And I'm not saying that it's easy because we haven't been taught these things, but it is quite simple to change your life and your health, your body, and your mind as well. Okay, so just to recap really quickly, we started really talking about how the mind affects the body. And the number one thing that we both recommend to change your health is to change what you're putting into your mind first. Okay, you've got to start either doing affirmations, listening to positive audio, either that's YouTube videos or audio books, reading positive things. Because if you put in positive, you're going to get out positive. Okay, the other thing is you're going to have goals and tell yourself you can achieve them. If you think you can do something, you can do it. If you think you can't, you cannot. Okay, so that's really simple, right? It seems simple. It seems too simple. That's why most people don't do it. Most people don't do these things. They're too simple. The other thing I recommend is gratitude, okay? The quality of your life is determined by how much time you spend being grateful for things. So every morning I write a gratitude list. We recommend moving your body, right? Because if you want to change the way you think and your life and your health, you're going to have to move, right? You can be fit without being healthy, but you cannot be healthy without being fit. That doesn't happen. You have to move. And I made that mistake. And if anybody wants to talk to me about this after the live, DM me, because I went about 6 or 7 years without exercising as a raw vegan. Because I was just like, I'll just eat healthy. I don't have time to exercise. I'm busy. I'm running a company. I'm too busy. No. You're never, ever too busy to exercise, ever. Because your body is the most important thing in your life. It's the most important machine, okay? If you're not too busy to take your car in for a checkup, you are not too busy to take care of your body. The other thing we recommend, of course, vitamin D. And you've got to get checked. And if you are deficient, you've got to take care of that. We need vitamin D. We are tropical beings. We need vitamin D. If you have to supplement, then you have to supplement. I'd recommend the sun, is the best. But, listen, you have to take care of that. Get off stimulants is another one, okay, really quickly. Get off stimulants because that's going to affect your mind. And then that's going to affect your health, okay? Stimulants, caffeine, caffeinated tea, chocolate, okay? These things, these energy drinks, these things are extremely bad, not only physically, but mentally as well. And if you don't get control of your mind, you can never get control of your health and your body. And then last thing I wanted to say is make it easy for yourself, okay? So make it easy for yourself to succeed and to change your habits. First of all, put a Post-it note to remind yourself to do your affirmations, to write your goals down, right? Because in the beginning, you're not going to be used to certain things. So you're going to have to remind yourself. Put a Post-it note to drink more water. Put it at your desk. Put it on your bathroom mirror. Okay, remind yourself what you want to achieve. Don't just, hear this and then don't do anything and say, I'm going to do that. No, make it easy for yourself. If you want to get into yoga, put a yoga mat next to your bed. Okay, it's going to help you so much more just remind yourself, oh, I want to do yoga. Okay. Or, you know, if you can get a trainer or an accountability coach, that's amazing, right? Accountability is super important. And if you want to succeed at something, you know, having accountability, they always say, if you want to take the island, burn the boats. Make it so that you have to do something. Schedule a class, schedule a trainer in, right? Make it easy for yourself. And then final thing I promise is sleep. Ben, do you want to just say one thing about sleep that has helped you? Because we know sleep is so important. What has helped you to get good sleep so that you can perform and be as healthy as possible?
Good question. Yeah, sleep super important. That's when the body does most of its regenerating. I think getting off electronics at night, turning the Wi-Fi off when I go to bed, trying to turn electronics off by 8:30 so that the last hour or so before bed I'm doing other things, not looking at a glowing rectangle. I think that's been the best for sleep quality. Because if you're going to bed scrolling like, oh, I'm gonna fall asleep soon, you're a host. Forget it. So
that's the number one thing that I would say as well. It highly affects you. If you're looking at the light on the phone, it shuts down your melatonin production, and it takes hours for that to kick out, start again. And so if you're having sleep problems, get your phone out of your bedroom. I do not keep my phone in my bedroom. I charge it outside. I have an actual alarm clock, and I highly recommend that as well. I think that's it. Yeah. I thank you so much. Yeah.
Wi-Fi also interferes with your body's ability to produce melatonin. So
wow, I know that. Okay, yeah.
Many EMFs. So reduce your EMF exposure as much as you can before you go to bed.
Shut off your Wi-Fi. Why do you need it on? Why would you need it on when you're sleeping? It's such a simple thing. You see, that's another thing, Ben. I'm so glad you brought that up. It's another simple thing that is so easy to do, but it's also easy not to do, right? So,
yeah,
so simple.
And one thing I would charge to people here is we gave a ton of tips. We gave a ton of things. Yeah. You're not going to be able to implement them all overnight. You're going to go crazy. Pick one or two that that you think would be the most highest leverage for you. Like, if I just did that, that would improve me a lot. And then turn that into a habit and eventually do the other things. If you really want to make a big change, and you're going to need help. So I would say, message Jeanette, message me if you want to make big changes, because you're going to need help and coaching to do that. But I would say for people who are going to do this on their own, don't try to implement everything on your own. Pick one or two things out of it. Comment. What's the one thing that you're going to do after watching this that that's a change you got to make that's really going to help you? Because I'd love to see that.
Yeah, great advice right there from somebody who is succeeding. Guys, take advice from people that have the results that you want. Okay, there's no way you can change everything in your life, but you can change one thing, and that one thing will affect another and another. And if you stick to one thing, it's so much better than starting and stopping and starting and stopping. Whatever you're dealing with right now the most, right? If you're having really bad sleep, take that one advice and shut off your Wi-Fi and stop scrolling on your phone. That is really going to help you. If you're having really bad energy levels, you're very, very low on energy, get off the stimulants. Take steps to get off the caffeine and the cacao and the soda and things like that. And, honestly, this has been an awesome discussion. I thank you so much, Ben. I hope to do this again in the future.
This was great.
I love talking to like-minded people that know more than me. And thank you so, so much. I thank you guys. You guys are writing a lot of stuff. We are going to head out, but I'm going to answer your questions after Ben leaves. If you guys have, I don't want to take Ben. Whoops. Okay. So I want to take any more of your time, Ben. I thank you so, so much. And I will see you soon. Everybody go follow him. He's super knowledgeable, passionate, and he'll really help you with your health now and in the future. And I thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Ben. So someone asked, thank you guys so much. Oh, I have to change okay, there we go. Better. So first of all, thank you guys for being here. Literally, I have the most fun live. And by the way, I really feel very nervous going on live. That's why I'm doing these lives, because I'm not used to them. They freak me out. I'm very self-conscious in front of the camera. That's why I always touch my hair. And I'm doing these so that I get more comfortable, because I would like to be comfortable on Instagram Live and public speaking. So just to wrap this up, I want to answer the last questions. Thanks to you both. Thank you so much. Foggy. I'm going to eat more fruit and vegetables and take, oh, yeah, I would say don't take away the juice. Just have the juice in addition to healthy fruit and vegetables. Okay, because personally, I do have juice, like probably not every day because I'm lazy, but every other day or every 2 or 3 days. I love juice. I love my juicer. I love drinking green juice, and it makes my skin glow. Okay, I don't wear any makeup on my skin, and that I really believe is because of the green juice. But we cannot expect to have healthy gut bacteria and a healthy diet and a healthy life if we're just drinking juice. I don't believe in juice cleanses anymore, and I will never do one again. I will never do one again. It never led to any health benefits. It did help me lose weight, but then as soon as I eat fruit and vegetables, right, I gain it all back. So I'm not eating processed food. I was just eating bananas and, mangoes, and I gained that weight and more. And it just caused metabolic damage and not good things, right? So I would recommend having juice, but not just juice. Okay, because juice is awesome. What's best water filtration system? Okay, you're using zero water right now. Well, I think if you're using a water filter, that's awesome. I would just continue doing the one you have. People have recommended the Berkey water filter to me. I personally don't have a water filter because of where I live. I'm renting, and I have like a big water shower. I have like a rain shower, okay? Like a water shower, a rain head in my shower, and I can't put a filter on it. So unfortunately, I don't have a water filter, and that sucks. But zero, I've heard great things about, and the Berkey, I've heard. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Yes, juice plus high fruit and vegetables. Lots of fruit, lots of vegetables. Have some juice. Why not? Smoothies are awesome too. Smoothie bowls. Live it up. I love you guys so much. I thank you. And if you are someone who would like to find out more information about how to change your diet and your life and your health and your energy level, maybe get on a fitness routine that you stick to, maybe set some goals for yourself and actually achieve them, message me. I would love to help you. I love helping people achieve their goals, because I am someone who never had goals as a kid and a teenager and in my 20s, and I didn't really find out about goal setting until I was 30. Okay, I'm 36 now, and I love it. I can't believe that I can actually think of things and then actually do them, like achieve them through simple, small, seemingly simple, easy daily habits. Okay, that's the key. There's no like quick fix. There's no secrets. It's doing things every single day. And that's what I'm doing with these Instagram lives, right? I am getting used to being on camera and getting more comfortable, even though right now I really don't want to be on camera. I didn't want to do this today because I'm not comfortable on camera. I love talking to people about health, but I'm just very nervous in front of the camera. But I'm doing it over and over and over as much as I can so that I do become comfortable. So that's just the same thing with anything in your life. If you want to get fit, what do you do? What do you do? You exercise every day. You don't have to do 8 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. Just do 1 hour a day over and over and over, and eventually you will get results, because that is just inevitable. Okay, anything you want in life, you just do it over and over and over, and then that's the magic. It's the compound effect. Oh, we're the same age. Cool. Putting your phone on airplane mode enough? Great question. Okay, I'm gonna go after this. I personally think that it is a better step, but I would recommend, from my own personal experience, to take the cell phone out of your bedroom, buy an alarm clock, or if you have like an iPad, use the iPad as an alarm. But you don't really want any devices in your bedroom. Here's why. These devices are made to make us spend as much time on them as possible. Okay, so I'm just getting closer to the camera. They know how to get us to spend a lot of time. It's very addicting, and the more time we spend on the phone, the more ads they can put up on YouTube and social media, and the more money people can make. Attention is everything, and they want our attention on the phone 24/7. So the phone in your bedroom is very dangerous. I would recommend you just stop it. Just take it out of the bedroom. Putting on airplane mode is better, but there's too much of a temptation to be on the phone. I know this from my own personal experience. I had insomnia for a very long time, and I was, sleeping 4 hours a night for years. Okay. And that's not because I wasn't tired. I was exhausted all the time. But what happened was I was with my phone. I slept with my phone in the bed. Okay. The phone would be right next to me or on the nightstand. And it is just way too tempting. There's always something to do on the phone. There's always something to look at, some video to watch, texts to do, text messages to send, emails to check out. It's too tempting. Take this advice from me. I got this advice from Darren Hardy. That's one of my mentors. He wrote The Compound Effect, which is a book that I highly recommend. It's a very simple, easy book. Take your phone and get it out of the bedroom. I thank you guys so much for being here. I will talk to you soon. I am saving this live. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. And yes, if you could comment down below. Yeah, some people did comment on the one thing they're going to do, and I love that. That's awesome, and I talk to you guys soon. Bye.